Hello. This is the last Theater Talks from New York City from the Broadway Birthday Bash. And I'm just going to warn you now, I'm going to get emotional. And this is probably going to be long. One of you, a friend that I met through social media who's followed some of my other journeys, had recommended that I go see the show A Man of No Importance. And it rang a bell somewhere, but I didn't know the show. And then I saw that Jim Parsons was in it and Mary Beth Piel, who I idolized Mary Beth Piel. And it was at Classic Stage Company, which is down in, I guess it's the East Village. It's 13th Street and 3rd Avenue. So, yeah. Um, it's a small off Broadway theater. I've seen a couple of shows there in the past. Well, they had a Sunday night show tonight. They don't normally have Sunday night shows, and it was a benefit. So I bought a ticket and said, well, that'll be the last thing I see, knowing nothing about it. Now, I need to back up for a minute and let you know that, first off, I am incredibly grateful to have this trip, to have the ability to come see shows as often as I do, and to do what I do. I am so grateful. I am. Um, Even when things don't go well, and this trip has been a rough one. It's been a long trip, and it's been rough, and I have not done or seen a lot of what I wanted to. Some of the problems have been physical, health wise. Some of it has just been life happens. Some of it has been my own demons and my own obstacles that I deal with. It's been a rough trip. And even today was very rough. I had plans and I got up and did them and they went awry. Anyway, I'm in the car driving down to the East Village to see this play, feeling very low. And not knowing anything about the play, I said, yeah, I'm a man of no importance. I know. I know. I'm not trying to get sympathy here. I'm not. I'm just telling you where I was. Okay. I go into the theater, and this theater is really, for those who, it's a small, very intimate space. Um, this was set up on three sides, probably 200 at the most. I tried to kind of count. Um, I was on the front row on one side. It reminds me of the studio with the Sharon Performing Arts down in the Villages, the Studio Theater, Terra del Sol, Whitney's, and kind of it reminds me of Theater West End in Sanford, Derek's Theater. For those of you from Jacksonville, old players, back when it was literally on the beach almost, old players by the sea. This theater really reminds me of that, and very intimate. I'm on the front row. I could have reached out and touched actors all throughout the show. I had to move my feet so Mare Winningham could cross in front of me, and well, several others too, but Mare did. Um, it was something that I am sitting there sobbing, and Mary Beth Piel is standing in front of me and looking at me. Yeah, for this little theater queen, those moments were golden. So, what's the play about? The play is about Alfie Byrne, who is supposed to be played by Jim Parsons. Tonight it was played by Benjamin Howells instead. And at first I was very upset about that, and then I am so thankful because I don't see Parsons in the role. I saw Benjamin Howells as Alfie, and it was beautiful. They had the Classic Stage Company has had several in the last 2 weeks, a number of performances they've had to cancel because of COVID. because of schedules, because of different things happen. They've pulled in people. Santino Fontana, who is a big supporter of this theater, came in just to play the priest, who has a very small role. Um, and different understudies were there playing different roles. They recognized them tonight because it was a benefit performance, and it was great. So Alfie this is Dublin, Ireland. Yeah, I'm already in the 60s, and Alfie is a conductor on a bus. Buses were the main route of transportation. Um, Most everybody rode the bus, and it was on the bus that he formed friendships, and he formed a little theater group, and they had a theater group that did different shows um, at the Catholic Church. They had done The Importance of Being Earnest. They had done Pygmalion. They had done different plays. And Alfie was the director, and he headed it up. And he's an older man who lives with his sister, played brilliantly by Mare Winningham. You guys remember Mare Winningham? I mean, she's been doing several things on Broadway recently. Every time I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I think of Mare Winningham. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? You know, she was part of what they call it, the Brat Pack, I think, with Rob Lowe and Ali Sheedy and that whole group in the 80s. And one of the movies, I don't know, it may have been St. Elmo's Fire, one of them, she talks about being in her own apartment for the first time and making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the middle of the night. Every time I do that, and I do it a lot, I think of Mare Winningham. That scene stuck with me. Anyway, tonight I saw her live, and she was right there. And she plays Alfie's sister, who can't get married because he's not married. She has to take care of him. And it's hinted at, and it's things, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, no. No, is Alfie gay? Is Alfie gay? And then I'm like, oh, duh, this was written by Terrence McNally. Yeah, the fucker's gay. Oh, sorry. Uh, well, um, and he's of a certain age, and it becomes very quickly obvious that he's got a huge crush and is in love with the driver of the bus that he's a conductor on, played by this kid, AJ Shively. You guys, I saw him in Paradise Square, the musical Paradise Square. Go back in my videos, you'll find him. I loved that show. And he played the nephew that had just come over from Ireland. And it's interesting because his aunt, I heard people talking about him, and it was his aunt who was right behind me. Um, this young actor, brilliant, just so great, and such a likable character. This is a musical, by the way, and he sings a song about Dublin, and it's a rip roaring bar song, and he just brings the house down. But he's also the unrequited love, unnamed love of our Alfie. And Alfie wants him to be in the play, and he's like, "Oh hell no." So they gather, and they're gonna put on Salome, the Oscar Wilde play, and it kind of appears that Oscar Wilde might be Alfie's alter ego type, and Oscar Wilde appears several times. It becomes obvious that Alfie has never acted on his homosexuality. Remember, this is the 60s. This is Dublin. It's Ireland. It was illegal. But theater is what drives this man. Theater is what he loves. Um, and so the church finds out they're doing Salome and that it's inappropriate. They kick him out. He gets tricked into admitting he's a homosexual, and he goes out looking for a little cuddling, and he gets gay bashed, and he gets shamed, and he's alone. And he sings a song. I don't know the name of it, but it's It's reminiscent of Into the Woods when the Rapunzel runs into the giant, gets stepped on, and the witch sings a song that says, "This is the world I meant. It's a cold, hard, dark world." And Alfie sings that song similar in meaning to that. I sobbed through the whole show. I can relate to Alfie on so many levels. And I am feeling at a point in my life so misplaced. That, I get it. In theater's what drives you. I'm gonna spoil it for you. It only plays for one more week, and I encourage you to go see it. His friends show up, and even the kid, AJ Shively, Bobby, I think is his character name, says, "I don't care. Yeah, I don't feel for the same for you, but you're still my mate. You're still my buddy. And I'll even be in your play." And another church says, "Come do your play here." And yes, there are some people that don't continue because of who he is or what he's doing. But for the most part, they do. Wow. Sorry. The play ends. He says, "I used to think that the most beautiful words in the English language were at rise." All my actors and theater people understand that. That's the beginning of the script. Of every script begins with, "At rise, we see, blah, blah, blah. At rise, so and so is happening." He said, "Now I know the most beautiful words are, 'Good morning, my dear friends.'" So, I have never said these words before. People ask me all the time, "What was your favorite?" And I say, I can't. How do you compare um, Some Like It Hot with a cast of 40 probably at the Schubert Theater and all its grandeur? How do you compare this big body, brand new, phenomenal musical to the revival of a play with two brothers, top dog, underdog? How do you compare that then to Otter McDonald on stage for an hour and 15 minutes, pretty much alone in Ohio State? You just can't, you can't compare. And those are all my experiences, and I never do compare. I never compare. And I never pick a favorite. I don't. A Man of No Importance was my favorite. It was meant for me to see on this night, at this moment, with that cast of actors in that theater. It was just perfect. And I am ready to go home. I am ready to see what my morning looks like. The literal and the, whatever. I don't know what the word is. I am ready to go forward. I came home and put my shirt on home to the hotel. It says, "Be yourself, they'll adjust." I feel good. I feel strong. And I'm ready to come back home. Uh, Thank you to Benjamin Howells. Thank you to Mary Beth Piel, Mare Winningham, AJ Shively, Santino Fontana. The play was directed by John Doyle, who is the outgoing artistic director, managing director, whatever his title is. He used to run Caustic Stage Company. This was his last show he directed. They have a new executive. Terrence McNally, of course, wrote the play. The music was by Stephen Flaherty. And oh, come on, Scott, you know it. I can't remember. It was the female who wrote the lyrics, and I know her name. Anyway, sorry. Thanks to all of them. This was my perfect ending to this trip. So thank you all for watching Theater Talks with Scott. It is not going to be months before the other one. I'm going to do these more regular. I actually want to talk about some different things with theater, things that are happening in theater, things that are going on. I want to mention stuff. I follow a lot of social media, so I'm going to share things with you. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you want me to talk about. I won't go for 16, 17 minutes, I promise. And I won't always cry. I won't promise I won't ever, but I won't always. Thank you for being part of my Broadway birthday bash. And until we meet again, good night.